welcome to the final battle of Week 6 of the FnF Victory Road Draft League. This battle is pitting Dutch Inkays, Quest Requested, versus Grand Island Jolteons, Quasimodo. As a reminder, the Mega Pokemon available on each side are Mega Steelix, which will not be appearing, and Mega Glalie, which is going to be appearing on Grand Island Jolteons. The Z Pokemon available for each team are Hydreigon with Attack Z moves, Azumarill will not be appearing on Dutch Inkays, and then Thundurus also with Attack Z moves appearing, but not Klefki, who has any Z move allowance. This is going to be an interesting match. I'm really curious to see what Mega Glalie can do. The Mega Glalie is actually new to Quasimodo's team, so I'm sure it'll pack quite a punch. There is a little bit of a weakness to Ice on Quest's team with Hydreigon, Crobat, and Dhelmise all being affected by that Ice weakness. And then on Dutch Inkays, I think that Durant, if it has the opportunity to set up, will be a very strong Pokemon. It does outspeed every single Pokemon on Quasimodo's team, so if it could get one Hone Claws off, that could be game, depending on if some of the Pokemon on Quasimodo's team are perhaps Scarfed, or if they have priority. I know Lucario has extreme speed, but that might not do much against Durant, so Durant's definitely going to be something to watch out for in this match, I think. And then, of course, Victini. Victini usually runs Scarf. We might see a Scarf today, maybe not, but that could really mess up a Pokemon if it tricks onto that Pokemon, or V-Create could also hit very hard. And then finally, I just want to mention that Wobbuffet's back. I think like one of the signature Pokemon of Grand Island Jolteons at this point. Really strong performance from Wobbuffet last week with that Custap Berry, doing some really interesting stuff. Quest, I'm sure, will be aware of that, so wonder if he will use the same strategy or go for a different interesting Wobbuffet strategy. It'll be hard to trap Quest because Quest loves to use pivots, so we'll see how that goes. But really curious to see how this match goes off, and I think it's going to be a good one. So without any further ado, I think we can begin. Let's see who we see first. We have Hydreigon first and Glalie. Glalie right off the bat, wow. That's actually really surprising, considering that Victini could have been a possible lead for Quest. Let's see what this Glalie has. Maybe it'll go for Spikes? I'm really curious why he decided to go for a Glalie lead. Could maybe see Victini come in to face Glalie. Hydreigon's probably going to want to get out of this situation. Mega Glalie, I believe, has 100 speed, and then Hydreigon... Yeah, Victini is the one to come in. Mega Glalie goes for the Spikes. Oh, so we have a Spikes lead. Interesting. One V-Create will be enough to take down Mega Glalie. So Quasimodo's going to have to be very careful with what he does next. I think Tapu Fini or Muzdale can both be possible switch-ins to this Victini. Or if Glalie's going to go for the suicide lead with more Spikes. We'll see. I wasn't expecting Spikes on Mega Glalie. Usually, when I think of Mega Glalie, I think like all-out offense. Just go for that offense. And Mudsdale's the one to come in. Victini goes for the trick, giving Mudsdale a Choice Scarf, and Victini actually obtains a Choice Band. So that Mudsdale was banded. Really interesting to see. Victini will probably still go first if it's max speed. Even with a Choice Scarf, I don't think Mudsdale will outspeed Victini. Hydreigon could be a good switch in to catch that anticipated Earthquake. If it has superpower, it could be trouble to Hydreigon, but Quasimodo's going to want to pick very carefully what move he uses, because if he goes for a superpower or a close combat for an anticipated Hydreigon, Victini can just be relatively free. And then also Dhelmise gets hit, avoids the hit from close combat. I think Dhelmise actually might be the best option here for Quest, because it could Rapid Spin relatively easily versus this Mudsdale. He probably wants to get rid of those spikes. Quasimodo might want to switch out. I don't think this is a really good predicament for him. I think a switch is definitely something that can be expected at this point. Oh, and he just goes for the V-Create, taking down Mudsdale in one shot. Wow! That's right, because the V-Create was boosted by a Choice Band, that thing is going to hit extremely hard. Really interesting play there by Quest, using that trick, and then getting a Choice Band. That is pretty incredible. We might see Web-Effect come out to counter the inevitable next V-Create, and that could be bad news for Quest, who then has to pretty much rely on Durant to take out that Mega Glalie. But I don't know if Web-Effect can take a V-Create counter. We'll see. And no, it's Tapu Fini who comes out, setting up that Misty Terrain. Victini's probably not going to want to be... not going to want to V-Create versus Tapu Fini, who could then go and Scald. Crobat would be a safe switch in here for Quest. I think Quasimodo is probably going to want to go for a Scald. Crobat doesn't want to be hit by it, but it won't do that much damage compared to everything else. And Dhelmise is the answer, who comes in and does take that Scald, doesn't do that much damage, and doesn't burn because of the Misty Terrain. Dhelmise is free now to Power Whip or to use Rapid Spin if it wants to get rid of those spikes. Thundurus and Lucario could be possible switch-ins for Quasimodo. I don't think Tapu Fini is going to want to stick around versus Dhelmise, who could threaten with a very strong Power Whip. I think Thundurus might be a good option, resisting both moves that Dhelmise typically carries, which are Power Whip and and Anchor Shot. Power Whip will still do some pretty big damage to a Thundurus switch-in, but it won't do enough, as much as it would versus anything else. But man, does it hit hard! Dealing massive 57% damage, one more Power Whip will be enough to take down Thundurus. Thundurus usually comes equipped with the hidden power. It could be either ice or flying, but this Dhelmise is pretty bulky, so I'm wondering if that'll be enough to take it down. Oh, and it is enough to take it down with the critical hit. That critical hit may have been significant. Who will be next to come out to face this Thundurus? I think it's likely we might see Jolteon. No, Hydreigon, actually. Hydreigon's gonna have to be careful from a Z Focus Blast, which Quasimodo has run in the past. is an intense matchup here. I think... Oh, Crobat is the one to come out taking that all-out pummeling. Really good call-out on that all-out pummeling. Wow. Crobat shrugs that off like it's nothing. Really nice bait and switch. Crobat will go first, but I'm not sure if it has anything that could take down that Thundurus in one shot. Crobat might want to just U-turn out of there to Jolteon, who could then suck up a electric attack. Thundurus might want to use a move that can anticipate the switch into Jolteon. Jolteon with Volt Absorb. Relatively comfortable versus Thundurus. And indeed, Jolteon does come out, taking that Thunderbolt. Quest just switching with pretty much impunity at this point. Thundurus does have Volt Absorb itself, so Jolteon's going to have to pack something else if it wants to hit that Thundurus. Score is 5-5 right now, even score with a slight HP lead for Quest Requested. And Lucario is the one to come out taking that Shadow Ball, which does about 59%. Jolteon, I believe, does outspeed Lucario, unless Lucario is holding a Choice Scarf. One more hit will take Lucario down. Lucario, I mean, it could go for an Extreme Speed. If it's Choice Banded, that Extreme Speed might hit hard enough to take down Jolteon. I'm just not sure. Jolteon is pretty frail, but I think it would need the Choice Band to be able to one-hit KO with an Extreme Speed. Some thinking going on here. And Jolteon goes for that Shadow Ball, taking down Lucario. Glalie is the one to come out next. Glalie known for its refrigerate, which can hit very hard, using Body Slam, Return, or even Explosion to have insanely powerful ice moves. Glalie can also use Earthquake to good measure, and that can actually hit Victini now that it's not Choice Scarfed. I think if they're both max speed, it will be a speed tie. Jolteon goes for a Volt Switch, dealing about 60% to Glalie. In comes Dumon the Durant. Another layer of spikes added to the field. An Iron Head can take down Glalie, although using Durant without a Hone Claws boost is pretty risky. Reason being, Hustle improves the accuracy of Durant's moves. So, sorry, it decreases the accuracy of Durant's moves. And indeed, we see a Hone Claws here, barely hanging on from that explosion from Mega Glalie. 1% left. This is Durant's time to shine. Mega Glalie's explosion hits very hard because of the fact that it gets Ice type and a power boost from Refrigerate. The rest of Quasimodo's team is going to have to try really hard to get this Durant down. It only has 1 HP, but that is a fast and strong Durant at this point with the ability to hit extremely hard. Tapu Fini is the one to come out. Can Tapu Fini withstand an Iron Head from Durant? At the very least, it will do some pretty massive damage. And it does withstand the Iron Head, but the flinch is going to ensure its death next turn. And indeed, the next Iron Head takes down Tapu Fini. In comes Wobbuffet, this time with some lipstick on. Dumon goes for the Hone Claws, and Encore allows probably a switch into Thundurus. And indeed, that's what happens. Thundurus comes out. Encore still locking up Durant, not allowing it to move. Thundurus could actually go for a setup this turn with Nasty Plot to try to get a sweep on the rest of the Pokemon of the team. And that's exactly what happens. Thundurus goes for the Nasty Plot. Dumon, the Durant, still encored. Durant just sticking it out. And Hidden Power is going to take down Durant. In comes Jolteon. Jolteon is faster than Thundurus, I'm sorry. And one Shadow Ball could be enough. Wobbuffet comes in to take that hidden power. Jolteon does have the ability to switch out with Volt Switch, and that's exactly what it does. In comes Hydreigon, who won't take damage from Mirror Coat because of its Dark type. Hydreigon goes for a Hydro Vortex, dealing about 41%. Wobbuffet heals that right up with the Aguav Berry. Encore's not going to work because it is a Z move that Hydreigon used instead of a regular move. Hydreigon does have the ability to just spam Surf with impunity due to the fact that it's Dark type and Wobbuffet's Mirror Coat will not affect it. But Hydronoid, the Hydreigon goes for the U-turn instead. And Nash the Crobat comes out. Brave Bird's going to take down Wobbuffet. And Thunderous Therian is the last to come out. In comes Jolteon, taking that Thunderbolt with Volt Absorb. And a Shadow Ball is going to take down Thunderous Therian, allowing Quest to walk away with the victory. 4-0 victory for Dutch Inkays over Grand Island Jolteons. Very good match, some pretty hype moments, some luck, some final gambits there by both sides trying to really mess up the other with almost a little bit of a gimmicky move, but overall really strong battle between both sides and really enjoyable, strong finish to week number 6 of the FnF Victory Road Draft League. That is going to conclude week 6, so week 7 is coming up. Stay tuned for some of the battles of week 7 as we enter further into the second half of the regular season of FnF Victory Road Draft League. I'm Noel from Mystical Chain, and I'll see you then.